Hello everyone, this is part 3 of What If Naruto Was Betrayed and Broken, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. Hokage's office. Loud snoring could be heard, as A, very oblivious to the world, Tsunade was happily dreaming of retiring, gambling, drinking, burning paperwork, certain individuals and, you get the idea. Her snoring ceased abruptly when a loud, sharp knock echoed through the room. Sitting up, with drool down her face and unfocused eyes, she drawled tersely, "Come in," whilst wiping her chin with her sleeve. Blinking owlishly at the arrivals, eyes still unfocused, she motioned for them to sit down. "So how was it?" she said with a yawn. "He threatened me," Kakashi said offhandedly. The Godime's reactions to those words were hilarious. Her eyes widened immediately and she gaped at the Junin like a fish out of water. "What?" she said disbelievingly. "Stop scaring her," Sakura said, giving her sensei a s on the back of his head. "Sorry Shisu." Kakashi-sensei was reading the book, and Kenji here was curious and started asking about its contents. Naruto freaked out and ordered him to never read the book in front of Kenji. "Perverts," the female Sanin mumbled under her breath. "So how was the furnishing and stuff?" She then added. "Well, it went smoothly. Kenji and I picked out the stuff and the guys help arranged them perfectly," she said with a grin. "If it went smoothly, then what took you so long?" the blonde woman questioned curiously. Sasuke snorted softly and sent a glare in her student's direction. "She made us arrange the furniture so many times, but ended up with the third arrangement." Chuckling slightly at their misfortune, the Hokage then said seriously, staring into the copy nin's eye, "How did it go?" "He's still not comfortable with the change. I think you should tell him how we got the whole of Konoha into penning his sentence termination, and also how successful it is. Plus you should also tell them how you fried the council with Jiraiya and the clan heads," Kakashi suggested coolly. "I know I should, but I wanted to test him. I just thought, well, more like hoped, that there's still the him we knew years ago inside him. That just maybe he'll forgive us all," she trailed off, realizing that she sounded more and more ridiculous with each word that came out of the mouth. "Without explanations. Well, there's nothing to explain, we all did a mistake and he just has to forgive us and learn to trust again. I think we should give him time. He would come around if we do that. I hope," Sakura said, her voice getting softer with each word, that the others barely heard what she said. "I guess we should not pester him too much," she said thoughtfully. "Kenji, you're assigned to keep an eye on him, mostly changes in his reactions, emotions and stuff. I want weekly reports. Understand?" "Hi, Hokage-sama," the young boy answered. Scrutinizing the boy's appearance, Tsunade noticed that he has purple eyes. Like Naruto's right eye. "I've always wondered about your relationship with Naruto. His right eye is purple like yours, and that scar, care to tell us?" Her curiosity finally getting the better of her. "I was 9 when I met him. I still remember what happened like it was yesterday," the boy coughed and cleared his tea. "Osen told me his part of the story too, so." Flashback. Hiroshi, again, took liberty to follow Naruto's team out on patrol duty. He was trying to get the blonde to open up but was very unsuccessful. He has been in the outpost for almost a year and still he barely spoke more than 10 words a day. The leader was pondering on a plan he devised to prank the blonde to invoke some kind of a reaction out of the blonde when suddenly a scream pierced the night. Nodding to Naruto's team, they all set out rapidly through the trees towards the scream. Moments later they found the cause of the commotion. Half a dozen of ninjas seemed to be attacking a woman, who at first glance looked like a civilian, but she was holding off nicely against her 6 attackers. Her main problem was a kid cowering behind her as she fended off the ninjas. Before anyone could react, one of the ninjas, who got behind her, tried to strike the small boy. He would have succeeded if Naruto hadn't interfered. The rest of the team sprang into action at the sight of the comrades' actions. Minutes later the 5 remaining Rouge ninjas were either apprehended or s. However, they were too late. The woman, presumably the kid's mother, was s. There was nothing they could do. Even if she was rushed back to the outpost's infirmary as fast as possible, it would have been too late when they got there. Heart-rending sobs were wrecking through the kid's body as he howled loudly, holding onto his mother's hands. The woman, however, was gesturing to Naruto, asking him to come closer. The blonde did so, albeit hesitantly. Young man, you saved my son's life. What is your name? Naruto. Uzumaki Naruto. Thank you, Uzumaki-san. She then looked sadly at her son. Kenji, you must take care of yourself and be brave. Always follow your heart, my son. Hi, Oka-chan. Another wail escaped the boy's lips as he held on tighter to his mother's hands. It was because you protected my son. You can have mine after is. She spoke softly with a faint smile gracing her lips. I can't, Naruto stuttered at her suggestion. Yes you can, Uzumaki-san. I have a request, would you take care of my son after is? Please. I will, I promise, and I never break. He halted when random memories assaulted his mind. Seconds later his memories got vaguely unclear and faded away. Thank you, I love you Kenji. She whispered, and then she was no more. Another heart-wrenching wail broke the silence of the forest. End flashback. That was how he got stuck with me. Kenji said. After a moment of silence, Sakura said, but I don't get it. Why are his eyes grayish instead? They were supposed to be blue and purple. I don't know, but since I met him, his eyes has been getting grayer. Osen said it was most probably caused by emotional instability. But the thing is, he seems happy when he's with me training, when I play pranks on others and when we do stuff together. Why would it be getting worse then? If it's getting worse once he arrived here, then I'd understand, the young boy remarked. Are you insinuating that we're upsetting him somehow? The Hokage hissed furiously. Yes, ever since these guys, gesturing Kakashi, Sakura and Kakashi, came looking for him, giving him that scroll, making him come back to Konoha before the invasion, he's been acting very, very weird and distant with everyone. Standing up, glaring at Tsunade, eyes burning with passion and anger. The female Sannin, who was taken aback by the boy's outburst, glared back fiercely. The two of them continued glaring until finally Tsunade conceded and said, "You've got guts, kid." Smiling fondly at the boy, she thought, his eyes were like Naruto's, full of passion and emotions. She was then reminded of the now empty glassy eyes Naruto had. Sighing heavily and rubbing her temples, she said, I'm sorry, it's late, you all should get back. The four of them left in silence, three of them still thinking about the words Kenji just said. Tsunade gave another sigh as she retrieved her sake and took a swig. Ungrateful brat, after all the pestering and threatening I had to do to get him back here, he's not even appreciating it, she mumbled. A small voice at the back of her mind said, you don't mean that, it's not his fault after all, it's ours. I guess you're right, she shouted to the empty room. Taking another drink, she then hid her sake bottle and trudged out of the room to retire for the night. Hokage Mountain. It was a beautiful night, the full moon seemed large as it hung lazily across the deep blue sky. Sabaku no Gaara was standing there waiting for the arrival of one Uzumaki Naruto. Minutes later, light footsteps can be heard through the stillness of the night. Both of them said nothing as Naruto walked up and stood beside Gaara, admiring the moon. Soon after, the Kazekage, not used to silence around the blonde, took the liberty to observe him. Long blonde hair held back in a loose ponytail, while the hair in front, which was not long enough, fell loosely, framing a lean face hiding his scar partially. Cold, empty, almost gray eyes were unfocused, looking ahead. Studying his friend, the redhead realized that he could not comprehend the blonde's emotions like he usually did. Still curiously studying the blonde, Gaara finally spoke, where do you want to spar? Turning around slowly, gray eyes meeting green ones, he said, training ground 17. As soon as he finished his sentence, he leapt of the mountain with the Kazekage trailing behind closely. Moments later they arrived at the destination, and they stood facing each other. Then suddenly, without warning, both of them started moving rapidly, testing each other's strength and speed. The spar slowly turned more violent as more bee was spilled and the ground was ripped apart by Gaara's sand attacks. Both fought on relentlessly, Naruto's speed matching Gaara's improved sand mobility. The battle went on for several hours, and at the break of dawn, several spectators were gathered there watching the spar. More came eventually, curious at the outcome of a battle between two Jinchurikis. Several of the Konoha 12, including Team 7, arrived as well, anticipating the outcome of two great forces battling for victory. The spar went on furiously, both parties trading jutsus and fists. Finally they came to a standstill. Both shinobi were panting, but neither was giving up. This will be the final attack, Kakashi said to Sakura and Sasuke, looking intently at the two Jinchurikis on a standstill. All of a sudden, without warning, both shinobi sprinted forward simultaneously. Nobody saw what happened exactly, all they saw was a blast of sand and a swirling blue orb clashing. When the smoke cleared, 2B were on the ground unmoving. Fearing the worst, Team 7 hurried forward, halting halfway only to find two hysterically laughing Jinchurikis rolling on the ground. Konoha Hospital. Get some rest and don't go anywhere, Sakura said, imperiously staring at the two men. All she got in response was ice-cold stares from both the Jinchurikis. Sighing heavily at their stoic behavior, she left the room, bumping into Temari in the corridor. How are they? Temari half shouted in panic at Sakura. I'm going to K them if they so stupidly K each other. The blonde woman was itching to get her hands on their tea for worrying her so early in the morning. They're okay, Temari-san. Just some bruises, some laceration, few cracked ribs and bones. Nothing life-threatening, she said sarcastically. Damn stupid ninjas, can't even have a normal spar. And they call this a spar. Stupid. They overdid it, didn't they? I think I'll not disturb them, they most likely are communicating somehow, Temari said softly, ignoring her need to check on her brothers, giving them their privacy. Not like they needed it, just because. Noticing the Sand Kanoiki saying, communicating, she raised her eyebrows and asked, why communicate and not talk? Both of the Kanoiki started walking to the waiting room around the corner. Oh, they don't really talk most of the time. Who doesn't talk most of the time? Kakashi said when he overheard the girls talking as they entered the waiting room. Naruto and Gaara. Kankuro answered and resumed sending death glares at Sasuke, though it isn't working very well. Both Kanoiki laughed softly at the display and Sakura commented, that wouldn't work, Sasuke is immune to death glares. He gets them from Iruka all the time. In my opinion, Iruka's glares are scarier than yours, so don't waste your energy, Kankuro-san. Kankuro replied with a one last glare at Sakura's direction before settling down on the comfortable couch. You were saying they don't talk much, Temari-san. Care to elaborate? Kakashi said as he put his book back in his jacket in response with Sakura's very own glare reserved mainly for Kakashi and his book. Well, they mostly stare at each other. But I still get the feeling that Gaara isn't comfortable with silence around Naruto, but he allows it. You'd be surprised that Gaara actually talks more than Naruto. The Wind Mistress said nonchalantly. They've met before this? Sasuke asked, voicing of Kakashi and Sakura's question as well. Yup, he comes to visit us when he's on missions to Suna all the time. The Sand Kanoiki said with a smirk at their incredulous look. Then they'd have a spar like the one this morning, purposely dragging out the fight for as long as possible before ending it with some sort of an explosion or something like that all the time. It's usually a draw, and they'd laugh after their finishing move. That's the only time I see them laugh. It's kind of creepy if you ask me. I never knew why they did that, but well, they're good for each other. I've always assumed it's an inside joke among themselves or something, she added. Oh, I thought this was the first time. You weren't there this morning and I assume you didn't know that they would go this far. Sakura said slowly, still trying to absorb the shocking information she just heard. She assumed it wouldn't happen. So did I, we should have known better. Kankuro said with a sigh. Yeah, I told him not to seek out Naruto. I knew they wanted to spar, since Gaara did tell Naruto that they'd have a spar. I told him it wouldn't be appropriate in Konoha. He didn't answer me, so I thought he wouldn't do it. I went to sleep and when I woke up he wasn't there, so I came here with Kankuro. Temari explained. So how was it? She added out of curiosity. Huh, how was what? Sakura asked, confused with the sudden change of topic. The spar, my dear, the Wind Mistress chastised. Oh yeah? Sorry, I was still confused, she then added, well it was weird. I mean, I've never seen such intense sparring. When I arrived with I was beyond shocked to see them fighting, thinking something happened and they're trying to K each other. Then I remembered that Gaara said something about wanting to have a spar with Naruto. Then Kakashi sensei came with Sasuke, and both of them were kind of shocked. Were not. Sasuke interrupted quickly. Yes, you were. So was Kakashi-sensei. I could tell, Sasuke. You're easy to read nowadays. Besides, I am your teammate for like 5 years. The Kunoichi said with a laugh. Sasuke said nothing and gave a huff before shutting up, knowing he had gone soft over the years. Besides, she was telling the truth. Where do they spar in Suna? Kakashi said. In the middle of nowhere, where there's plenty of sand. Kankuro offered. Oh, Sagara has the advantage then. The copy nin said. Nope, he doesn't use the sand around, only those from his gourd. They are into long-drawn battles, lots of taijutsu, kenjutsu for Naruto, and a bit of ninjutsu. No genjutsu whatsoever. I think it's their way of communicating. Temari said thoughtfully. What about the demonic powers? I mean Naruto, he doesn't use it. Sasuke inquired. Nope, you don't know. Kankuro said, eyebrows arching. Know what? The three said in unison. Ah, so you don't know then. Didn't the Hokage tell you? She knew about it. Temari said, teasing their patience. Stop teasing and tell us. Sakura said impatiently. Well, all I know is he got his seal reinforced so he can't draw out the Kyuubi's chakra. Kankuro clarified. What? The trio yelled in unison again. Why did he do that? Sakura asked imploringly. You'll have to find out for yourself. I never did find out. He's tight-lipped about that issue. We only found out he did it but not why. But I suspect Gaara knows though. Temari said. Shushu should have told me. Oh, I bet this has to do with his different chakra. Damn, she said she'll tell me when she knows more, God. She never did have time to know more, with all the commotion going on. I guess you're right, damn, am I agreeing with you? Yes you are, insert evil laugh. Go away, she thought irritably. Sakura came back into reality just in time to catch her sensei's question. Yesterday when we entered the Hokage's room, Gaara said something about some agreement. What about it? That would be the agreement to provide compulsory military assistance if Konoha is threatened in any way by outside forces. Temari said. Oh, you mean all these years when Suna refused to provide any form of military assistance, giving all the excuses, was because of Naruto? Sasuke said in awe. Yes, that would be right. Kankuro said smugly, at their alarmed reaction. By the way, how did your Hokage got the sentence terminated? Temari's question snapped Team 7 out of their reverie. Well, first we signed a pen. We had almost all of Konoha supporting the sentence termination. Except for a few dunce full, Sakura continued mumbling curses under her breath. Ma Sakura, that is unbecoming of a lady. Kakashi teased. Shut up. If we had full pen then the council couldn't interfere. Sakura said hotly. So if the council interfered, how did you all succeed? Kankuro asked. We had to persuade them. Sasuke said. Luckily all the clan heads are in favor of terminating the sentence. A few of the hard-headed council fools objected and the Hokage had to use her ultimate weapon. Kakashi provided. What ultimate weapon? Temari asked excitedly. It didn't work anyway. She threatened them that she'd quit, plus all sorts of death threats. The pink-haired girl said irately. Then Jiraiya used his ultimate weapon. Sasuke said. What's with you all and the ultimate weapon stuff, can't you tell us properly? God damn it, Kankuro complained. We're getting there, this is the interesting part. Kakashi laughed. Just tell us, you one-eyed freak. Temari shouted, fuming at their teasing. Well, he got the proof of Naruto's heritage. Some pestering and mild threatening later they conceded. Kakashi said with a grin, though they couldn't see it properly under his mask. Heritage. What heritage? Kankuro asked, confused. Naruto is the son of Konoha's Yondaime Hokage, Namikaze Minato. Sakura revealed the truth at last. What? The two siblings stared at the three Konoha ninjas wide-eyed and mouth gaping. High-fiving each other, Sasuke said triumphantly, we got you. Then the five ninjas started laughing at their own predicament. Naruto and Gaara's room. A soft click resounded across the room as Sakura left. The pair stared at the door for a while before turning around to stare at each other. No words were spoken for none were needed. They understood each other's grief perfectly and as the saying goes, silence speaks 1,000 words. This went on for a while until Gaara finally spoke. I'll be here for your Junin test, Naruto. Thank you. I appreciate it a lot, Gaara. Silence fell again as the staring ensued. Then, where's that kid? I left him at home sleeping. I left a note. He'll be here when he wakes up. Ah, he's loud and irritating. Again the silence fell. They then continued staring at each other. What did you agree on with the Hokage? Compulsory military assistance. Thank you. And again silence fell. It went on for a while until hurried footsteps were heard running down the corridor. The door opened with a loud bang and Kenji came running in, jumping onto Naruto's bed, hugging him. Otu-chan, why did you go sparring with Oji-chan again? You said you would not do that again. Kenji yelled loudly, causing the pair to wince at the loud intrusion. I did not say that, Kenji. You said that to Gaara. The blonde corrected his son. I did, the boy said questioningly. Yes you did, Gaara confirmed. Oh, I guess I did. You both aren't going to spar again, right? You always end up in the hospital after sparring. The boy said imperiously, releasing his hold on Naruto and sitting down on a chair in between their beds. No, we will still spar if we feel like it, the redhead said in response. The blonde agreed. You're both evil. Do you know that? Kenji half shouted, scowling at both the Jinchurikis, causing them to grimace at the sheer loudness of his voice. Yes, we do, Kenji. The blonde answered. Don't you have a team meeting with Haruno-san in the morning? Oh, damn, I forgot, it's all your fault. You both always fight and end up in the hospital. Then I'd have to come visit you all. Now I'm late because of you, Sakura-sensei will cane me and it's all your fault. Kenji complained loudly with a pout on his face. You didn't have to come. We're fine as always. Now go to the meeting. Naruto said, gesturing towards the door. Fine, I'm leaving now. I'm coming back again after we're done with the stupid missions, see ya. Kenji shouted again while running out of the room, leaving the pair in peace to continue with their staring. Training grounds. It was around 12 noon and Konoha 12 was gathered here with the exception of Team 8. All of them were lazing around talking about Naruto and his Junin test. For the past week, after the blonde spar with the Kazekage, Konoha 12 were given leave to bug the hell out of Naruto. They were constantly either at his house or at the training grounds with him. They were all impressed by his stealth, speed, and kenjutsu, as they all had a turn of sparring with the Jinchuriki. Even with Konoha's greatest tracking team, he would often lose them and then they had to run around Konoha looking for him, though they gave up doing it after the second time it happened. They never found him, it is always the other way round. They mostly just sat around waiting for him to appear. He would suddenly appear before them and sat down with them without a word. These disappearances were getting lesser nowadays, which they all presume was a good sign. So how many parts are there in his test? Neji asked Sakura. 2. The first is steal and reconnaissance. He will be tested by Team 8 and another tracking team. Sakura explained. They'll never find him. He's great at hiding. Chuji commented proudly. Yosh, you are right, Chuji-kun. His youthful sneakiness is the greatest. Lee shouted. What about the other part? Sasuke said, ignoring Lee's outburst. Sakura heaved a heavy sigh before saying, he will have combat testing. He's fighting Kakashi-sensei, Kurenai-sensei and Guy-sensei. All at once. Tenten said with a gasp. I'm afraid, yes, the pink-haired Kanoiki answered softly. That's too much. Ino exclaimed. I think he would be able to beat them. Beside, I think he was not meant to beat them. Shikamaru said. What do you mean by that? Sakura asked. Well, combat with that 3 Junin is an overall test. Kakashi-sensei to test his ninjutsu, Kurenai-sensei to test his genjutsu, and Guy-sensei for taijutsu. Neji interrupted when the lazy shinobi took too long to answer. And, oh, was chorused. When do you think he'll be back? I'm starving and I want to go for yakiniku, Chuji whined. All of them except for Lee rolled their eyes at his antics, while Ino s him on the head and said, you just eat 5 packets of chips and now you say you're hungry. God, Chuji, stop being greedy. But I'm not, Chuji protested weakly under Ino's scrutinizing stare. It'll be soon, I guess. They started at 8 and it's now after 12. Sasuke said, hoping he could placate the arguing pair. None of that happened as Ino ignored Sasuke and started berating Chuji for eating too much. Shikamaru rolled his eyes, took out earplugs, plugged his ears and went to sleep promptly. Then Ino realized that the lazy Junin had his ears plugged. She pulled out his earplugs harshly and started berating him for having no respect for her, being lazy and such. The rest of them save Lee heaved a sigh as the trio fell into the normal routine. Lee then, as always, started to interfere with the argument and got a lecture full in his face for his fashion sense and busybody attitude. 10 minutes into her lecture for the three of them, Neji suddenly said, "They're here." Sakura turned around excitedly and caught a glimpse of 4 people walking towards their direction. "So did you pass?" she asked Naruto eagerly. "Yes," Naruto said indifferently. Sakura squealed happily, tackled and hugged the very surprised blonde. His body stiffened visibly as she held him, squeezing the breath out of him. Once again Naruto's now infamous, "I'm very confused," look is plastered on his face, as he raised his shaking hands and started patting awkwardly on Sakura back. At this moment Ino deduced 2 things. Number 1, Naruto still loves Sakura. Although he tries hard not show it, as he didn't believe Sakura loved him too. Number 2, Sakura is hopelessly in love with her blonde ex-teammate, and she doesn't know it. And that is when Ino vowed to help this clueless duo get a clue. On the way to Sakura's house, after a celebration at Chuji's favorite restaurant, Ino insisted for each girl to be escorted home by a male. She then proceeded to shoo Naruto and Sakura out of the restaurant while hanging onto Sasuke's arm like a leech, with Sasuke trying to pry her hands of him with a disgusted look on his face. This was the ultimate test. If Sakura would have started protesting, then Ino might have just forget about her plan to unite the clueless duo. On the contrary, Sakura sent a sweet smile at the direction before tugging on Naruto's sleeve in the direction of her house, proving Ino's suspicions. A Kenji was kept hostage behind Chuji's bulk with Shikamaru restraining him lazily, both under orders of their female teammate. Currently the pair was walking down the street leading to Sakura's house in total silence. The breeze that blew on them sounded like the howling wind. Sakura tried to speak but found the silence intimidating. She struggled for a while looking for a subject to talk about, mentally crossing off non-potential issues. "Okay, I already knew he didn't win again the 4 senseis, maybe I can ask him how it went." "You think he'd be able to narrate the whole story without choking?" Inner Sakura teased. "Stop that. He speak more often now, I'll have you know that. Yeah, speaking more than 10 words a day is a feat." "Shut up. Just ask him on a date." Why? How? I mean, Stop rambling in your mind full. Stop insulting yourself stupid, get out and let me think." Snapping out of her reverie, she contemplated for a moment before finally finding the courage to speak. Naruto. If you're free and don't have missions in the morning, would you mind coming for training sessions with my team?" She blurted out, crossing her finger hoping he'd agree. He didn't respond in any way, and she gave up hoping, knowing that he was still reluctant to spend time with her. Without realizing, they had come to a halt in front of her apartment building. Naruto was looking at her, as if asking whether he should escort her up to the door. The Kunoichi opened her mouth to say thank you but was interrupted by the blonde speaking. "I would be glad to," he said flatly. "Huh?" she asked, confused by the sudden change of subject. "I would accompany you for the morning trainings if I can make it," Naruto stated indifferently. "Thank you," she said before giving him a quick hug, and ran off into the apartment building shouting, "See ya then," leaving Naruto staring at her direction looking confused again. Naruto's residence. Jingling of keys could be heard as Naruto took out his key to open his apartment door. He was greeted by a blur of purple and a shout, "Otu-chan," before he was barely holding on to quite a heavy Kenji preventing the boy from falling. "They kept me hostage," he wailed and continued enthusiastically, "So, how was your date with Sakura-sensei? Is it fun? Did you Kenji kept on rambling until Naruto threw him on the couch. So. It wasn't a date. It was fine, not fun. We didn't he said while walking back to the door to lock it. "Oh," the boy said with a pout on his face. "I did promise her I'll train with her team in the morning if I can make it," Naruto added as he walked into the kitchen and started making tea. Kenji's face lighted up like a Christmas tree, and shouted, "Yosh! Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah," he cheered while running around the house doing a victory dance. "Go to sleep," Naruto said dispassionately. "No way, I'm celebrating. I want hot chocolate." "No, go to sleep. Please, pretty please," he begged, sending one of his best puppy eye no jutsu at his father. "That won't work. Go to sleep." Naruto held on, but the jutsu was working itself into his mind, poisoning it with Kenji's cuteness. The blonde took a deep breath and finally said, "Fine. But you have to promise me you'll go to sleep once you finish drinking it." "Yosh. I promise," the boy shouted and started laughing at his father's weakness to his jutsu, catching a serene smile gracing his father's normally expressionless face. "Well, he seems to be adjusting well. I did get him to smile. Damn, I cannot lose to Gaara Oji-chan. I will make him laugh again. I have him here with me, now that Oji-chan has gone home to Suna after the Junin test. I'll definitely make him laugh, yosh. That shall be my mission." While mentally declaring his mission, Kenji had punched his fist into the air in a very determined sort of way, puzzling Naruto, who just stepped out of the kitchen holding a cup of tea. Realizing what he did, Kenji smiled sheepishly, rubbing the back of his head. "It'll be done in 5 minutes. The blonde said, sending apprehensive look at his son. "Oh goody," the boy said, rubbing his palms together greedily. "So will you teach us Kenjutsu tomorrow?" he added. "I said I'll train with you, not teach you. Haruno-san is your sensei. She'll teach you," Naruto said flatly. "But Minori and Naoki said they want to learn Kenjutsu from you. Your style is amazing." Kenji tried to persuade his father. "I've told you I have no style. It's all reflex and counter moves," the blonde explained quietly to the boy. "You could name it Uzumaki style and it'll be a style. You created it, so you should give it a name," Kenji retorted. "No one would want to learn it if it's named Uzumaki. Besides, even if I don't name it Uzumaki, once they knew the creator was me, nobody will want to learn it. So it's best I do not pass on my Kenjutsu style," Naruto reasoned. "But there are people like my teammates who'll be glad to learn it." "I'll be glad to learn it. Why won't you teach me?" the boy asked furiously. "If they knew the style you used was from me, you'll be a marked man," Naruto said coolly. But Kenji tried, but he was interrupted by Naruto standing up abruptly. "It's 5 minutes already, I'll get the hot chocolate. Remember your promise," the blonde said as he walked into the kitchen to retrieve the drink. Kenji heaved a sigh at his father's stubbornness and decided to leave this debate for another date as usual. "So what happened in the test? You've got to tell me, Kakashi. Please, I want to know, and Naruto's doesn't seem to be a good narrator now." "Well, he used to be, but," Iruka trailed of, looking solemn at the though of the old Naruto. Kakashi sighed heavily. Iruka had been badgering him for the past 10 minutes about the match. Worst, he had caught him in his morning rituals in front of the memorial stone reminiscing about his sensei and Obito. What a coincidence that he knew where I am at this time of the day. This rookie Junin is good at finding people. Must be practice from chasing Naruto around looking for the kid when he played another prank. Kakashi mused silently, still not bothering to look at the man. He gave up in the end, thinking he might as well recount the match for the sake of his sensei as well. He would have felt proud of his son if he knew how strong he is now. "Okay, fine, I'll tell you. But no interruption," he said before staring his tail. Flashback. "Go all out. Aim to K. Understood." Tsunade's voice rang out clearly through the arena. The Kazakuge's watchful, indifferent eyes were staring at Naruto, as if conveying a secret message. Naruto was staring back, as though he was answering all the doubts in Gaara's mind. On the count of 3. The referee's voice echoes on the bare walls. Naruto turned around and looked at his opponents. 1. His hands were held stiffly by his side. 2. The 3 Junins took their stances. Guy and Kakashi were on offensive. Kurenai was on defensive. 3. The 4 shinobi's posture visibly tensed. Go. 3 of them disappeared and Kurenai remained where she was and started weaving a complicated genjutsu. Clanging of metals was heard and blurs of movement can be seen darting around the arena. Only those with trained eyes could see the showdown between Kakashi, Guy and Naruto. Both seasoned shinobis pressed on remarkably, leaving no room for the blonde to turn to offensive. Dodging a S-kick from Guy, Naruto whirled around and backhanded the taijutsu master, sending him flying. Not bothering to see if his opponent was recovering or not, he dashed toward the genjutsu mistress in hopes of stopping the genjutsu she was about to unleash, only to be stopped as Kakashi threw a fireball in his path. Naruto tried to dodge it fully, but he got singed on his right sleeve. Suddenly all his sensations blurred and he couldn't see properly through the thick fog. Suspecting genjutsu, Naruto opted to use his right eye's Kekai Genkai bloodline limit. Activating it, he felt a slight pinch of headache. Taking a few moments to get used to the pain, he found himself in deep S as Kakashi just paired up with Guy and was rushing toward him, no doubt the finishing blow. Smirking slightly to himself, he dodged it cleanly. They weren't expecting this and were caught off guard, almost stumbling, brows furrowed in confusion. No way, he couldn't have broken the genjutsu so quickly. This is impossible, not even with the Sharingan or Byakugan. Kurenai was surprised by the sudden turn of events. Meanwhile, the rivals quickly gained their bearings and started a counter-attack. They dashed off into opposite directions, hoping to confuse the blonde, catching him off guard. Damn, fighting with one eye isn't good. He ruminated as the duo dashed off in opposite directions, rendering him blinded from one of them. Choosing to focus his attention on Guy as that guy has more speed, he went into defensive mode just as a flurry of punches was appearing in his face. Swinging his Kadeki blunt side swiftly at the man's body, he heard a resounding crack. A few punches landed on him before he realized that he sent the man flying again. It was now 2-on-1 as the taijutsu master called it quits, claiming that Naruto could have taken his life if he wanted to. He was caught off guard when he fell over, feeling like he's been hit by a train. On closer inspection, it was a smaller version of the Suiruden no Jutsu that Kakashi once used on Zabuza. Then he felt steel on his end, proving that Kurenai had sneaked up on him unaware. It was not deep enough to K, but deep enough to be profusely. Sending a wind blast at the Kanoiki, he was about to charge at Kakashi when suddenly. Okay, that's enough. The Hokage's voice resounded commandingly. You have proved that you are capable. You are now hereby and henceforth a Junin. Congratulations, Naruto. All movements were halted abruptly in the arena. Naruto took a moment for the adrenaline to wear off before expressing his gratitude. Thank you, Hokage-sama. Come on, let's get to the hospital, we need to heal these injuries, she said, gesturing them to follow her. All of them stopped moving when the Kazekage spoke. Naruto. Gaara. Naruto replied just as flatly. I will visit if time and duty permits me. I will do so too. There was a hesitant pause and then, thank you. You're welcome. An awkward moment of silence later, Temari and Kakeru pushed the two brothers together, encouraging a hug. The hug was short, but what did you expect from two emotionally dense Jinchurikis? They then parted their ways, Naruto getting a hug from both Temari and a clumsy one from Kakeru. His face still held the confused look when he left with the Godime, Kakashi, Guy, Kurenai and Team 8 for the hospital. End flashback. Happy now? Kakashi said sarcastically. Yeah. Iruka trailed of his mind, obviously somewhere else. Taking a chance at the rookie Junin's silence, he dropped back into his normal reminiscing. A few minutes later, Iruka asked, that Kekai Genkai, what does it do? We asked. It seems the name is Shinsei. He refused to tell us the origin. And according to Naruto, it's practically useless, but he can see through genjutsu like they're just not there. The more powerful the genjutsu, the worse is his eyesight. He said it's just like being farsighted. Kakashi explained. Oh, that means you lost to a half-blind farsighted kid. Iruka started laughing loudly at the copy nin's expense. I didn't lose. We were stopped halfway, the Junin said indignantly, trying to ignore the irritating snorting laughter. Training grounds. The three Genins were having a mock sparring, mostly consisting of Naoki chasing the boys, Kenji and Minori, around, throwing a random kunai or shuriken at them. Sakura waited patiently for Naruto. Kenji had said that Naruto would come and she's going to take his word for it. Besides, there's still 2 minutes before 8. Tapping her foot impatiently, she finally turned around and started to shout at the Genins to stop fooling around, when she heard soft footsteps. Turning back, she saw Naruto approaching and she smiled widely at him, waving, "Good morning, Naruto." "Good morning," was the short reply. He then took a glance at the two boys still running around being chased by a very scary-looking Kanoiki. A small smile graced his lips, when Naoki succeeded in bonking Kenji and Minori on the head. Sakura was staring at him like a fish gaping. "It's so beautiful, I wish I can see that more often." She was then promptly sent back to Earth as Naoki gave a squeal when she saw Naruto and made a beeline towards him. "Naruto ni-chan," Kenji said, "you have the best kenjutsu moves. I want to see them. Can I? Please?" The girl with shining ebony black hair with startling green eyes was flashing sweet smiles at him. Yeah, I want to see them too, please," She was joined by a ginger red-haired boy with hazel eyes was trying to look cute though only succeeded with a half pout. Taken aback by their sudden request he chanced a glance at Kenji only to set his eyes on a smug-looking face. Sending the boy a fierce glare, he caught a glimpse of Sakura trying to coax him into giving in. After 5 minutes of pestering he gave in, produced a cage bunshin and started sparring with said clone for 10 minutes showing the basic moves of his style, and finished with a vicious swipe at the clone's bee making it disappear with a puff of smoke. Another 20 minutes of begging, puppy I know jutsu, pouting, shouting, debating, pestering and annoying whining he finally gave in once more and proceeded to teach the trio his style, which he had not named yet. They're doing well aren't they? Sakura's attempt to start a conversation was gone unnoticed when she didn't get any form of reaction from the blonde. A few minutes later he said, I shouldn't have taught them. I should have asked permission from their parents. What would they say if they found out that their kids are learning from me, the demon brat? I should have not given in to their pestering as well as yours. His expression was one of regret, pain and fear. Sakura's heart ached when she looked into his eyes. They would be glad, Naruto. You're a hero, you saved their lives. She reasoned. It's temporary, Sakura-san. It will never be permanent. One fine day they'll realize their mistake of revoking my punishment and they will find way to get rid of me. He said with his head in his hand rubbing his temples. She noticed him calling her Sakura instead of Haruno-san. You called me Sakura. She pointed out. I did. I'm sorry Haruno-san. He replied, his calm demeanor back in place, cold eyes flashing dispassionately. No, I meant it's good to hear you call me Sakura again. Would you continue doing that? Please. She stuttered, shock at his abrupt change of emotions. His eyes flashed again, this time with something other than the usual cool look. It looked like joy, but before she could interpret it the glassy look was placed upon his grayish orbs once again. He seems to have taken his request into consideration, his eyes now scrutinizing the Genin's flawed kata's moves. I would be glad to do that, Sakura-san, he said with a soft voice. Sakura beamed at him happily and gave him one of her bone-crushing hugs. Then the duo sat there and concentrated on the Genin's training. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.